All right, everybody, we are back. It is another beautiful Thursday evening to be doing some very cool level design. I may or may not have some technical difficulties tonight. I don't know. I had a, B-sod earlier, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right. Let me adjust some settings here real quick. Make sure Perforce is connected. Okay, it is. I think we're ready to go. It's been a minute since I've run through this level. Let me try it real quick. And y'all can just let me know if the audio levels are off. Maybe the sound effects are too loud or something. Disable all screen messages. Yeah, I don't want to see that. That's all stuff for me. Me and Will. Smack. Alright. Do a quick run through real quick. Rusty. To be honest, I don't. Whoa. We need to make it where they can open doors at some point. Whoop. Where is he? Where is he? Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Oh, out of ammo? Guess what? Oh, don't run! Don't run! I'm just trying to punch you. I'm just trying to punch you. Get some help, especially before that guy kills me, or that guy. Ooh. Ooh. Wow. So much for the streak. Dodge over here. Punch this guy. Oop, gotta reload. Man, I really wish I could shoot. It's kind of bad when you're like bad at your own game. It's not like awful, but it's not like really presentable. There we go. Little nice dash hook combo. Always feels good. Wow, I did it. I'm alive. Alright. Enough of that. Let's go to the actual level that we've been working on. Whoa, uh-oh. Oh. Whew. Got a little scared there for a moment. Yeah, earlier I had a B-sod. Just blue screen to death. Locked me out of my computer entirely. And when I reloaded my computer, I tried opening GeForce to maybe install some new drivers, and it was saying, yeah, no, I can't do that. I'll even show you real quick. It'll like, yeah, look at this. I mean, I'm sure it'll work now that I'm actually showing it, but yeah, no, something went wrong. Try rebooting. I figured it's probably just better not to mess with it right now, and I'll do that, you know, off stream. If we can get it run for now, it's fine by me. All right, so last time we were here, we were connecting these two areas right here, right? We kind of built this giant cavern. It's not going to stay a giant cavern the whole time. We're going to build some walls and everything into it. To be honest, it's probably going to be more structure than rock. But we'll see. At some point, I need to come back in here and connect this to the rest of the level. Problem is I'm having a hard time deciding where I want it to reconnect, right? Initially, I was thinking it would just drop back down to like right here. But I was really debating if I wanted to like kind of build a second floor. Because right now most of the like main area is on this bit here. And this is where the player needs to come back to a lot, right? Right here. Which almost makes me want to like scoot this entire arena that way. Or no, on screen this way. General this way direction. Mainly because having you come to a hub and then shoot back is a little counterintuitive. I have it to where you can like cut through at the moment, but I feel like that's also potentially a little confusing. Again, all of this originally wasn't supposed to be a hub area. It was supposed to be a linear level that you'd like snake your way through, and then shortly into designing it, we decided we wanted it to be a non-linear level, which I kind of prefer that kind of level design anyway. So I guess we'll see. Something I could do is I could just make this room bigger, right? That's probably the easiest thing to do in order to kind of convey how important it is. But I really don't want to right now. But it might just be something I have to do, right? Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe extend this whole area over here. And maybe even make the elevator going in at the side over here. Oh man, this is gonna be a huge pain. Oh well. You know, that's part of the process. Level design is very, very iterative. And you kind of gotta learn to roll with the punches and not get too attached to your design, right? You know what? I probably... Man. I can't talk tonight. I probably could have done without deleting all those pieces. Now that I think about it. Just kind of scoot them back instead. Keep the same form. Just kind of extend the room. I think that's probably a better way to go about it. Come on. Come on, Unreal. I know you want to undo without crashing. Please, please, please. Please, please, please. Oh, come on. There we go. Beautiful. I knew you could do it. Alright, let's grab all these walls, all these ceilings right here. And, you know what? While we're at it, I think we'll grab the corner pieces. And put it back on the grid. Snap that there. Move this out. I know this is like kind of jank at the moment, but I'm already liking the scale a lot more. Okay, yeah. Yeah. That's looking good. And then we'll push this other bit back. And I think we'll actually put the vault door, well, not the vault door, but like the elevator door at an angle. I take that back. There's a lot of reasons I kind of don't want to do that, because the area it's going to go into is going to go straight down, and we don't have a lot of 45-degree pieces. So yeah, ignore that actually. Okay, gotta destroy those pieces, push this back. Oh, that's nicer too, because it like lines up now. Okay. This might actually be a blessing in disguise. You know, we're redoing a lot of work, but I think overall, this entire section is just gonna feel a lot better. Get rid of that little half wall. Bring in the floor a little bit. And we got to remember that we are not doing any set dressing or anything at the moment, right? We are strictly keeping this to be just gray box, right? I'm wondering why I had the ceiling this low. I think it's because initially I was going to have like a vent section here. No, right. This was like a secret room at one point, then I turned it into this like control box room, which I like more anyway, so that's fine. This needs to be closed up, though. I might just dupe this. Actually, we're gonna... Yeah, we're gonna do that. take it back. I think this like half ceiling is actually pretty good. Are these not on the grid? Oh yeah, of course they're not. By the grid I mean like our custom cell snap. So I'll just bring these down. These ones are on the grid. Bring that there. Get there. Leave these. Bring these up. Bring this one up. Right, these were. I was wondering why there's like pieces were like not your standard square. It's because this room was like all different at one point. Okay, pull that over. So is this in the middle? It is. I do kind of want them to have the same height, at least in this room. So I think I'll bring this down. Wait, no, what am I doing? I had it at the right height. Folks, it has been a long day. So you'll have to be patient with me tonight. We're gonna try this real quick. Bring all these up one. Then bring this up one. And then do I have any barricade pieces? I really need to make a wall half piece. That's vertical. Because using this barricade doubled up over and over isn't like, it works, it's just not it's just not the best way to do it. It's kind of sloppy. What's the saying? There's nothing more permanent than a temporary fix. No, I don't want to leave that there. I want to bring that there. Oh, come on. Take that off the cell snap. Pull it up over here. Bing, bang, boom. Yeah, and I'll just use it again here. I don't hate it. Is there any reason this is boxy, though? Like, could I... let me... Like, if I destroy these... and replace it with these like angled pieces. Is it gonna look okay? I don't want it there, I want it here. Yeah, I like that. It's more open. These need to be rotated though. Rotate, rotate, rotate. Yeah, because ooh, it would be better if they were in the middle, or if this went over like that, and then I'll just use this piece, kind of like that. Because this is supposed to be like a small little alcove right here. Yeah, because you're going to be running through this hub area a lot, so I want the flow to kind of direct you in the places you're supposed to go. So like the more open areas are there and there. This could probably be opened up more, but this is not the only way to get into these areas. I need a better way of directing someone to here, right? Because this is one of the main rooms, and to be honest, it's one of the better rooms, at least so far, in terms of just design and aesthetic. So I need way to kind of emphasize how grandiose. That helps a little bit, I think, right? Oh, the red from the the red from the room is bleeding over. This room could probably do with being pushed back a little bit. In fact, design no, that's fine actually. This is such a small bridge to be leading to such an important area, and also currently all the doors look the same, so that's kind of a problem. We need like a specialized door at some point for just kind of garnering the attention of people. Who is messaging me? Oh well, does not matter. It's always so loud. Why is he not moving? Guess I haven't built the navigation in a while. Do I even have a... Oh wow, the level's actually outgrown the nav match volume. I was wondering why some of the enemies were like acting a little, you know, weird. Okay, let's rebuild it, see what it looks like. Building the paths. That was fast. Let's see. Oh no, I did not. Nope. Little oopsie daisies on my part. Why did I get rid of the crates? I had them stacked pretty good. Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, they're hidden by occlusion. Okay. Or do they just spawn at runtime? Them not showing in the editor is kind of a problem, though. Why are they not showing? They're not static. Are they static? I guess they are static. This is an issue. Well, this is strange. I imagine it's probably because it's a blueprint thing. I think if... I don't even know if I need to restart the project. I think just restarting the scene could probably fix it. If not, I need to restart the project because I need to be able to move these things. Yeah, okay. I got a little scared there for a moment. Turns out it was just a blueprint issue. Okay. I'll go ahead and swap all these out for floor pieces. No. I want to give them a new material, not delete them. Yeah, that works. I'm liking this room a lot more now. It's feeling a little bit more like a hub. But this needs to go back. All this needs to be scooched. Probably about to there would be good. No, that's better. Yeah, like I said, it should be a pretty big room. This needs to get moved though. Yeah, I'm thinking we just change this door to be here, because that way you can see it from more angles, right? Coming in from the 3 main directions. Well, you're not going to be able to see it from this way, but generally when you enter the room, it's visible from here, here, and here, where if it's here, you could miss it. You're more likely to see it head on, but I kind of want the player to be able to see the main objective from every direction when they're running through the level. I think that's just better design. These caustics definitely need some work. They're something about the post-process setting is like making these too purple, I guess. Yeah, like overall, I like the surface coloring. It has this like weird fog cutout that I need to adjust, but oh man, it's just like one of those things about being a like small team. You just don't have infinite time or resources, part-time, so having to decide like what's good enough to like just leave and move on. That's probably like the most difficult thing, right? These need to be corner pieces, floor. Goodness gracious, why is it down there? I don't want it there. I want it here. Then rotate it. What on earth? Oh. Yeah, that makes sense. I've got all the materials like flip-flopped on it. Trim. At some point I should go over how we like decided to build these like kit pieces. To be honest, I should at some point just go over our design process in general and like how we built everything out for Unreal specifically. Because these kit pieces are like kind of a lifesaver for rapid level design. You know what? I think I'm gonna pull this wall in. This is currently just a temporary door that we're going to eventually build an asset for, right? Because like this doesn't even open. This is just well, basically nothing at the moment. Let's see, I want it. Yeah, that's fine. I'll do that. And then kill all these. Destroy that. Copy these, pull these over. Then I think I'm gonna angle it back in, right? Because otherwise that's going to be dead space. I mean, not inherently, but the odds of someone running around into this corner over here coming back this way is low, and I just don't want to design that space, to be honest. So let's slap, you know, like a little angled wall there. That way you're kind of more funneling players to the point of interest. Actually, pull this out. Or put that there. Because this way, when someone comes in, they see the wall like jut over this way. I suppose it could be more interesting if do something like this, kind of like a terraced thing. I don't know. Let's try it out. Yeah, I think that looks better. It's more interesting. Let's pull all these in before I forget about them. Bring this in here. This is gonna have to extend up through the roof. That's okay, because it's like matching the angle, kind of. I'm gonna do the same thing over here. And I gotta. Oh, where's the piece I had for that? No, it's not that. It's that. No, I'm wrong. Is it this piece? I guess it might be. Hold on. Then I'll just borrow it from here. Okay, yeah, that is the right piece. give that. Same material to match. Wall there. I wonder if it should actually match this. No, I like it matching the wall more. Okay, pull these over. I don't know if I like them, like, coming together at that point. Kind of like it, like, more. I guess I could lower the roof. Or I could just bring the wall out. It's looking better, I think. That does make this like little jutted terrace feel kind of weird though, so I guess I'll It's almost making me want to push the everything back more this way. Gotta think about this one. This is going to be our main room. So take that off the grid, bring this over here. Delete that, pull this over. Is it better if that's just yeah, maybe. Maybe I just pull this in. We're just feeling it out at the moment. See what looks good. No, I think I'm just gonna mirror what I have on that side. When in doubt, just go with symmetry, because symmetry just, it's kind of hard to mess up, right? So just pull this over here, right there, pull that over, and then just mirror all that. We'll just have that be an extension of this like secret alcove. Okay, let's close this all in. See how it feels. Off through it. Woo. That was weird. This needs to... Oh, it's not? Oh, interesting. Doesn't perfectly tile. Oh well. Extend the range. I do kind of like it more. Up here. Let's see how this looks with like a nice orange. Lower the intensity and just kind of where would the center of the room be, I guess? Between there and here. Doesn't have to be like exact center, just kinda. Just want to get the general vibe across. Who's messaging me? Okay, this room's feeling, you know, a lot more grandiose now. In fact, I can probably close it up a little bit. It makes me not want to spend too much time in here, because it makes me feel small. Which is good, because, you know, you want to, like, push people into other parts of the level. But, think I'm gonna be able to design this as like more of a hub now, which is good because that's what I want. Oh, I got rid of that piece, didn't I? Just borrow that. I'm just gonna borrow it. Oh, self snap. There we go. Oops. Rotated it too much. I'm gonna take this off the cell snap. Actually, I'm just gonna change the trim on it. There, that looks better. Okay. Oh, man. I wonder if I should seal this off and not make it a secret room. I don't know. I do kind of like those, like, secret gun stashes in levels. This can be really pulled in. Does not need to be that big of a room. Like that. That's plenty, right? Put like a little terminal or something up here. We're gonna make this a corner piece. Ooh. Those. I can actually get rid of these. Not that I really need to, because occlusion culling should take care of them, but having like messy free floating geometry is just bad for level design later, right? Like if I want to cut into somewhere, I don't know if I'm like pushing up against actual level or whatever. Just gonna go All right. Right, I was gonna make this like a corner piece, and then these should probably go more. I guess they're fine here. Goodness gracious, that's loud every time. Okay, and then I'm thinking we're going to do kind of like a half ramp. Take this off the grid, bring it down a little bit, put it like there, and then kind of do the same thing there. You know what? We're going to use this kind of ramp instead. I don't need it to be some big thing. I just need an elevated platform for the player to run up on. That's going to allow them to open this. Gotta move all these. Kind of doesn't matter where for now. There. Good enough. This piece. Let's see, grab this little like quarter piece, pull it on down, bring it on downtown. Don't really have any half slope pieces. I guess I could just like squeeze these, but it's not ideal, but it'll work. Yeah, I'm kind of digging how this is looking, actually. Dum, bum, bum, bum. And then I'll just grab both of these. Pull them over here. Button it up all nice. And I'm thinking actually I'm just going to take these off the grid entirely. Put them like there. There. And then do this. I'm going to move all these pieces. Kind of be centered on this grid here. Okay, you can see it coming in from here, here, and here. That's good. Let's see how tall it is. There we go. Okay. Oh my gosh, it's so loud. Then I'll put like a little panel or something right there to activate. Could be cool. Ooh. Ooh, I just had a better idea. Okay. Grab all these pieces. Make sure you don't miss one. And then that one. You know what? I think we're gonna put it back. I'm debating on if it should be this tall. Mainly, it might just like obscure things too much, but I want it to be, I guess let's make it the same height as like a wall half. Let me do that. Let's drag this over here. Hey! Welcome to the stream. What's going on? We're currently doing here is we're working on some non-linear dungeon level design at the moment. What is this game about? That's a good question. So, this game, Captain McSpacebiff, is about this guy right here. This Captain McSpacebiff. He is a soldier. He's a captain from a little place called Planet America. So the premise of the game is, what if the Americans won the Cold War and never had to go into space to beat the Russians? Well, the Soviets. So, America wins the Cold War. The Soviets beat America in the space race and retreat to the moon to form a colony called the Soviet Moonion. America slowly encapsulates the entirety of the world, creating Planet America. And these two factions are at war with each other. So, you have people like these two guys, right? So, this is like a Planet American colonist. This is a Spetsnaz soldier. But the premise is, basically, you're on this far colony on the outer edges of space, investigating a communications relay that's gone down for the Planet American colonists. It's hundreds of light years away. You've reacted to essentially a stress beacon, and you're going there to reestablish communications. When you get there, you find out everything's in disarray, and you know, the Soviets have kind of taken over the ooh, that's looking kind of gross right there. But essentially, the Planet Americans have they've lost the war, right? And you're there to kind of clean things up. Your ship crashes once you get there, and kind of everything goes to crap, right? So it's a combination first-person shooter and third-person brawler. So if you watch above me, eventually it'll loop back around to some gameplay. But yeah, so we're really big fans of games like Dark Souls, right? So we have, you know, third-person melee combat, that kind of thing. And then we also have a mix of first-person shooting, because most of the games we've made have been first-person shooters. It's got some RPG mechanics in it, but it's essentially a retro science fiction atom punk first-person shooter. We're developing this game along with the game above me right now, Deadlock, which is not to be confused with Valve's Deadlock. Ours is it's a VR arcade shooter in the style of like John Wick, right? And is more akin to like game modes like Nazi Zombies from Call of Duty and Firefight from Halo. There we go. But yeah, right now I'm just kind of making a Soviet moon base. The premise of this level is you're infiltrating this base to free a lot of the American colonists that have been kidnapped and are being converted to the way of the Spetsnaz. So they're here against their will, and you're trying to break them out. We've got a variety of enemies. We've got these guys like, this. Why don't we put the third-person camera fob at 102 so we can see the whole character design? Is that a design choice? Oh, yeah, we're gonna let the player adjust the third-person camera. It's more just like a preference thing for me, right? See? To be honest, I like playing at higher frame rates. Not higher frame rates, higher FOVs. But generally speaking, it's a little bit more cinematic to have it close. Let me see if I can punch this guy. There he goes. This is still very early in development. We have things like dodges in first person and stuff too. And throughout the game, you're going to get upgrades to your characters. It's kind of representing one of the ship parts you'll find. But finding something like this will allow you to, dodge in the air. And also do damage when you dodge through enemies. Do I have a programming background or something like that? I actually do. Funny enough, though, I'm not the one doing the programming on the game. That is my other friend, Will. He does all the programming for both this and Deadlock. I do all the level design, environment art, animations, that kind of thing. My day job, I work as a programmer. I work as an e-commerce programmer. But yeah, we've been making games for about 10 years now. We went on hiatus for a little long while just because, sometimes life gets in the way and, you got to go make some money doing something else. But now we're back to developing games, not full-time, but, part-time, and we take it pretty seriously. Even though it's a hobby. We've made 2 games that are on Steam. The one above me, Deadlock, which is in alpha. We're actually getting ready to release a new update for that, where we're adding locomotion and a new level and, two-handed weapons, that kind of thing. And then this game, Captain McSpacebiff. I guess I can show you maybe some other levels and maybe some of the open world real quick. In what region? By region, are you referring to where we've released the games, my programming background, or what do you mean by that? Yeah, that's our other game, Root. That one's on Steam. It's a stealth action FPS where you play as like a hacker, and it's kind of like Tron-esque. Mixes up games like Dishonored, Deus Ex, and Thief. Mostly Deus Ex and Thief, right? See if this will load. Come on. My computer's been kind of finicky, so apologize if it's a little slow. Anyway, this is the overworld of the demo we're putting together. Cat McSpacebiff is going to have elements of open world gameplay, right? Where it's freeform and you can kind of run around and fight enemies and do some quests, ride speeder bikes. This is a it's a placeholder. Yeah. Oh, what region are we? Yeah. I'm in America. I'm East Coast. I live in Florida, and my partner also lives in Florida. We've been making games in the deep swamps of Florida for close to 10 years now. That's one Mighty fine overworld right there. Thanks. Thank you. Welcome to the stream, by the way. Yeah, if you're not seeing the comments of each other, it's because I'm dual streaming to both YouTube and Twitch at the moment. Yeah, Dog Gamer. Yeah, we're in America, but since a lot of our games have just text for dialogue, we're hoping to do some localization at some point. Currently, it's just in English, but yeah. But yeah, McSpacebiff, it has, you know, open world elements similar to games like Borderlands, I suppose. And then once you navigate through certain parts of the world, then you'll come across areas that are like dungeons that are more like a standard FPS level. And the one we're working on currently, this one right here, is a non-linear level, right? So the objective is to eventually open up this vault door. This is placeholder asset at the moment. Actually, all this is placeholder. But, you know, you're going to be looking for key cards throughout this level. You'll be fighting enemies like our grub. I'll see if I have a picture of him floating around here. Oh, you're in Canada. Lol. So yeah, you're you know, same time zone and everything. This is our grub. I have like an actual picture of it somewhere. I wish I could pull it up because our artist Will did a really good job recently. Oh, here's, well, it's not a textured picture, but yeah, it's like a kind of like a bipedal sandworm type dog creature. I don't know how you would describe it, but yeah, it's pretty cool design. I like it, but yeah, the big thing in McSpacebiff is it's kind of a lighthearted, goofy game. There's a big emphasis on, you know, just like comedy and, you know, dumb stuff, right? Just the whole premise, like Planet America is ridiculous and the Soviet Union is even dumber. And then, you know, we also have an alien faction that shows up at some point in the game to kind of, you know, throw a wrench in everything. But yeah, we make a variety of games. We even made another game called Denizen, which is a free game on itch. It's a kind of I don't know how you describe it, like almost like a horror atmospheric adventure game, kind of. It should show above my head here in just a second. That one's free. Root goes on sale quite a lot for, you know, like two or three bucks. Deadlock is yeah, there it is right there. That's Denizen. It's just a prototype, but it runs, you know, maybe an hour or two. We kind of went overboard on it a little bit. When are we modeling the wrench? I don't know. I don't know when we're gonna model the wrench, Simcook. Don't be so smarmy. Where is this light coming from? That's gonna bother me. Oh, there it is. There's the hole. Dang, I'm gonna get to finally play Denizen 2. Sorry, Denizen 2 finally. I don't wanna imply there's a Denizen 2 because there is not a Denizen 2. Truth be told, there's not even really a Denizen 1. It's solo, right? Yeah, all of our games are single player. McSpacebiff is actually co-op. It is our first co-op game. If you look above me, there's gonna be some looping footage. That's from months ago. There's way more stuff. But if you look closely, at one point you'll see a character that has McSpacebiff 2 running on top of him, and that's player 2. Give it like 20 seconds. It should show up here any moment. Any moment now. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, running around punching with your friends and stuff. Yeah, so there's gonna be like vehicles and power-ups, and it's gonna be a co-op little game. So we're really excited for it because I think it's always a little more fun to play with friends. And we also just have some goofy mechanics planned, like being able to pick your friend up and throw them somewhere, whether they want to be thrown or not, which is kind of annoying but kind of fun, right? Do we use C++ or Blueprint? We use a mix of the two. We mainly use Blueprint just because it's faster for iterating, right? After a long day of programming at the old job factory, my brain, doesn't work so good when it comes to like syntax and stuff, and logically the processors in my brain, they're firing, but I don't want to type a bunch of code. So we use Blueprint for the most part, both for Deadlock, which originally was in Unity, but we've been transferring it over to Unreal, just for a myriad of different reasons. Things like ray tracing, Blueprint's just great, right? And just it's generally a better engine, in my opinion, for what we're doing, right? We were Unity developers for a decade, and I love Unity, but when it comes to what we're trying to do, Unreal is a little bit more robust. But yeah, we've got like a Discord and everything where we do like free demos and stuff, and people who are kind of early to things have a tendency to get copies of the game for free. But yeah, we also do a lot of development streams. I stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays and just kind of talk about level design and game design and animation and whatnot as I develop the games. And the other guy, Will, he streams on Mondays and Wednesdays, usually noon to 3 p.m. Eastern time. And he usually does, well, honestly, he just kind of does a mix of things. He'll do programming on stream. His most recent stream was a programming stream. And then also character modeling. That's like the main thing he does on stream, just because that's the most, to be honest, that's like one of the more appealing things to watch, right? A lot of stuff we do behind closed doors, because some stuff, as much as I think it's interesting, most people are probably going to find it boring on stream. Since you have 10 years of experience, do you have tips to not scope creep? Yes, actually. That's a good question. A lot of people, they have a tendency to dive into a project without actually building out a game doc of any kind, right? So first things first, you got to know your limitations. If you're a new dev, it really depends on your experience, but a game doc is huge. Obviously, you don't want to spend so much time building the game doc that you just don't develop the game. And in a lot of cases, you want to build some sort of prototype or something first just to see if the idea is fun. But once you get like a core loop down, or you have a pretty good idea of what you want your game to be, try and figure out a list of all the features you need for the game, what the minimal viable product is, and then rather than start building the whole game, build a vertical slice first, right? Especially considering it's really difficult to build a game if you don't have funding. We've done it before. We've, survived off of expired cans of tuna and, you know, worked full time at it. But my general recommendation is build a smallest working version of your game before you go and try and build the whole thing, right? I'm studying game design as a degree. When we do games as teams, I don't have problems. I only do on my own. Yeah, and that's kind of a big issue too, right? Because at least with other team members, you have people kind of keeping you accountable. My friend Will, the other guy who does this with me, he's a game design professor. So he would probably have some more answers in regards to this than I would. But I've found really keeping yourself honest of what your limitations are, figuring out what your strong suits are, what you're maybe not so good at. And a lot of people, they try to wear all these different hats, right? And I think that's great, but you really need to pinpoint what you're good at and where you're kind of weak. And I think rather than spend a lot of time focusing on the things you're not that good at, you try and design around what you are good at, right? Like, say I'm a good programmer when it comes to like websites and e-commerce and that kind of stuff, but when it comes to game design, I'm not actually the strongest programmer, right? Generally speaking, I'm a little bit better of an artist. I'm a better animator. I'm a better storyteller, and I have a good idea of like what's fun in terms of like game design, but I'm not going to sit here and build systems and stuff all day, right? So I'm not going to sit down and like make an RPG. The problem you have is finding assets. Yeah, exactly. So my guess is you're probably more along the lines of like, say, a programmer or maybe an animator, or I don't know. Now we do something kind of crazy, which is we build everything in-house, right? And I do not advise that for people, right? The only reason we do it is because we have a very particular styled game and we want everything to aesthetically match, right? Like, we can't pull a crate like this and have it match, you know, the same design of like this terminal or, you know, these characters. But again, my recommendation is, if, you know, maybe you don't have a lot of art, maybe try and work on a game that doesn't require a variety of art, right? Maybe make a smaller environment type game, something that's like, you know, a little bit simple, right? A good example of a game that really didn't have a lot of art in it, that looked pretty good to me. Let's see if I can pull it up. Was it Overkill? I don't remember what it was called. Anyway. Severed Steel. But yeah, jumping in here because it's where the party is. Yeah, welcome to the other chat. Yeah, I'm Sim Cook is also a game developer, right? He's pretty fresh. And he is working on a game that is not heavily reliant on art assets, right? Because he's pretty new to the game. He doesn't have like a roster of art, you know? To be honest, he doesn't have a roster of anything because he's so fresh. So he's picking a concept that can work with more minimal art and just focus on the design of things, right? And his game's like really cool and atmospheric. It's just you. Well, I'll let him talk about it a little bit, but from what I've seen of it, it's focusing more on like the combat and the environment itself is super simple, but it is atmospheric, right? It's just so finding assets. There's kits and stuff that you can get that are pretty good. Unreal has a decent amount of assets, but I found Unity in general has some better stuff. If you want to go for like a hyper realistic game, Quixel Megascans has so much stuff that's like just sitting around, but generally for a smaller developer or a solo developer, I recommend probably sticking to something simpler, right? Hard surface materials are always going to look better as a simpler environment than, say, foliage or rock or anything of that sort. Yeah, let me see if I can. Yeah, a really good example is kind of our first game, Root. That game had very simple art. It was just like mostly tile, and then a few props that we handmade them, but we could have just as easily taken those props off of an asset store and shaded them. I mean, back then we couldn't because the asset store didn't exist, but yeah. Here's a good example of a game that doesn't have a lot of variety in its art assets, right? It's just kind of neon walls, and I think they even have like a level builder, right? Yeah, it's if you look at it, it's very simple. It's just like all grids and cubes, everything. This guy's pretty cool, but you could just as easily replace someone like that with your own character. You get those bushes from an asset store, and then some tile, whatever. Very simple and clean environment. Gotta go, but I subscribe. We'll probably come back in on another stream. Well, thanks, man. Appreciate having you. Also, we have a Discord in our descriptions where we have more game developers and stuff hang out. Where if you have any questions, we put out tutorials and stuff occasionally. And I know the other dev, Will, he's actually a game development professor. So made me think of Carlson. Yeah. I know what you mean. But yeah, this is Severed Steel. Funny enough, we actually kind of know the guy who made this game, and he's making a new game called Echo Point Nova that launches in like 5 days. But again, kind of a simple art style, right? Just like a lot of repeating textures. But it's a really cool concept. And funny enough, our Captain McSpacebiff is actually going to make like a cameo in that. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, I always stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and the other guy streams Mondays and Wednesdays, and we also have that Discord if you ever have any like questions or anything. So yeah, good to have you. Oh shoot, I didn't know you knew the guy. We don't know him personally, right? He's just someone we are mutuals with on Twitter. And at one point he like asked, a bunch of indie developers like, hey, you have a cool character I can put in my game? And we were like, hey, yeah, we got one. He's like, oh, sick. So also in McSpacebiff, we're going to add a reference to Severed Steel too. We're gonna put like one of the guns in it, and then the hoverboard from Echo Point Nova probably is like as a vehicle, right? Since we already have hover vehicles, we could probably put Captain McSpacebiff on it. Would be pretty cool. That's something like more. It's more down the road though, right? Because We gotta finish so much more stuff. Man, this is making me realize like how much we need a table. Good enough for now, though. Yeah, so I don't know if you noticed, but this room's looking different, right? Originally, it was a lot smaller, right? Kind of cut over here, into there, and then cut off right there. I decided to go ahead and make the level bigger. Well, not the level, but you know, I mean, I guess technically the level, but the hub area. I wanted the hub area to be a little bit more grandiose and feel more like something you could run through often. I also put the elevator, still need a new asset for it, but off in a corner where you can now see it from every way when you're coming in. Because before it was like hidden off in this corner here. So now when you come down, you see it there. You can see it from here, coming up from here. And then these are in the way at the moment, but see it from here. But more importantly than the elevator itself, you can see this part of the room from every angle, because this is the activation terminal. This is where you're going to be putting all the key cards and everything, right? Obviously we're not gonna use this terminal and a repurposed crate for it, but it's just to kind of get the idea across, right? I think I'm gonna just add some more stuff over here, just for a little bit. I think I'm gonna do something similar where I add a shelf. Probably take this off the grid. Pull this over. That's not what I want to do. I want to duplicate it. I'm having fun making this level, but man, I'm really ready to be working on some VR environments. Mainly just because it's like a nice change of pace, right? I'm gonna be getting to work. Like, it's a different art style, so it's I just get to look at something else for a little while. I know I'm gonna get sick of it so fast though, because VR dev, as you've seen with Will's most recent stream, is just, it's a giant pain, man. Having to like build something, fire it up, check it in VR, doesn't work, back out, try again. Yeah, change of scenery, so to speak. Yeah. Well, and also it's just a different type of level design too, right? Like the spaces aren't going to be nearly this large. But there will be more emphasis on what do you call it? Like visuals, right? Let's move these. Oops. Do that. This. All this back. I like that. Yeah, it's a bit different when players will be literally... Wow, that's loud. I don't know why. Wow, that literally just broke my train of thought entirely. It's these... For whatever reason, the audio of the doors opening, they all fire at the same time, and it's in the same spot, right? Like, it's not 3D audio, so it just stacks. The more doors I add to a level, the louder it is every time. So I just really need to fix it. I could also just mute the game, but oh my gosh, it's so bad. Yeah, like you were saying, Simcook, it's different when a player can like shove their face in something, right? You have to put a little bit more time and attention into the little details, but it's also more fun because, you know, just by the nature of them being in VR, they are going to take a closer look at what you're building. Most levels, players zoom by at 1 billion miles an hour, and they never stop to think about anything, right? They're just like, okay, how do I get through this very, very quick? But in VR, they can't go 1 billion miles through the level because they will throw up all over their living room. Unless you're just, you know, built different, right? But most people aren't. Most people have normal inner ear function, so yeah, it'll be exciting to build a space that people have to kind of meander through. That's something I really like with level design, is that's honestly why I prefer these like open levels a little bit, because you're investing, you have to make an area look better, but a player is going to see it more times. Whereas like if it's a strictly linear level, they'll just breeze past it. Which is why so many games don't have linear campaigns anymore, right? Because it's so much effort to build all those art assets out for something people are going to run by at 100 miles an hour and only see once. It's like, if it's an open world game, you know, it's more effort on the front end, but they spend more time in it, so it's a little bit more rewarding. And also, players have this like really dumb thing where they equate hours spent in a game to quality, right? Like they would rather spend 100 hours in a game that's like a 6 out of 10 than pay, you know, the same amount of money for an experience that they only get to do once, and it's only 10 hours long, right? They don't want the Wagyu steak. They want 10 pounds of potato chips. And I'm not saying that's wrong. I just think it's really misguided. So that's why you see like all these like open world games or strictly multiplayer games. Because making a game that you can kind of only play once is like, you know, it's a more authentic experience and it's more interesting and it sticks with you better. But that's not what people want, right? Like a game could be a 10 out of 10 experience and then people will go like, I only got 4 hours of gameplay out of it, not worth the money. But it could like literally change their lives and like change how they think about games, right? Like Portal is such a short game, like the first one. And I've seen, you know, if Portal came out now, people would be like, man, this game, it's so cool and conceptually it does so much great stuff, but it's only like 3 hours long. So, you know, 7 out of 10. Meanwhile, it's just like, oh, well, you know. Well, I don't want to like rag on any game specifically, but like, oh, look at this generic open world slop. It, you know, it wasn't that fun. It wasn't that interesting. It didn't do anything unique, but you know, it's got 50 hours worth of content in it in the standard campaign. So I got, you know, 7 out of 10 worth the money. Also, to me, it's so stupid that Steam has the refund policy where if you beat a game, well, if you play a game for less than 2 hours, you can refund it. Whatever happened to like owning up to your purchases, right? It's like, oh, that was a bad investment. I bought a game that wasn't like for me. I should have researched it a little more. But now it's like, it really incentivizes like indies making games, like, and making like small, good, tight experiences. Instead, you have to like pad your game. You don't have to, but a lot of people do pad their game. Or you just have to spend way more time developing your game, and you know, the odds of it like bankrupting you is so much higher, when in reality you could have made like 2 or 3 other like kind of unique experiences. Like Root, our first game, it is like just over 2 hours, right? Oh, thank God it's a fellow game developer. What's up, Troopser? Welcome to the stream, man. Yeah, I'm just complaining about how oh, that's so loud. How a lot of gamers are complaining about times in games, and that they would rather spend 80 hours in a mediocre game than 5 hours in a life-changing game. People complaining that a game isn't long enough is so stupid to me. I've never got that. It's like, I understand wanting more of a good thing, but you know, sometimes a game is good because it is concise. Gamers derogatory don't actually know what they want. Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, I mean, most people don't know what they want, right? They're waiting for someone to tell them, which is very concerning. Like most people do not have nuanced ideas or understandings of things. They're just like, okay, what should I believe? Oh, this is the opinion I've seen the most, that I have a tendency to slightly lean towards. So I'm just gonna parrot that. I'm gonna parrot that. That goes with everything. That goes with like likes, ideas, concepts, politics, whatever, right? Biggest thing I've seen with it recently is AI. There's like zero nuance. It's just like either, oh, AI it's the best thing ever and we need to replace everyone on Earth with AI. And then the other end is like, AI is the devil and we need to burn it to the ground, and we should never use it for any reason ever. And it's just like, dude, it's like not everything's black and white. I'm Zim Cook. Not our fault you bought an asset, flip janky nightmare, but it's in your library and you need to own it or hide it from your library, but still. But yeah, that's my point. Is I think you should have to own your bad purchases, right? It's like, oh, well, you know, you played it for less than 2 hours. So what? You still bought it, right? If you didn't like it, you should have done your research. I mean, it's one thing if it's just like an unplayable, unexecutable garbage heap, but 2 hours is too long of a mark, right? You're gonna know that basically immediately. You're gonna know that within like the first 30 minutes, like, okay, this game just doesn't launch. And I've spent half an hour working on it, I'm gonna refund it. But playing through an entire indie game that someone like spent, you know, well over a year developing and being able to refund it because you could complete it in under 2 hours, that's gross. I don't like that. That needs to go away. I think it's just a really bad policy, right? I understand that Valve wants to keep the consumer happy above everything else, but I think it hurts small, unique indie experiences that we could have potentially had because, you know, we don't get those because they just don't sell because they get refunded. Troops here, but for real, players are great at pointing out something isn't fun, but their attempts at solutions are never right. Yeah, right. So, and that's something as a developer you really have to take into account is when someone is complaining about your game, even if their suggestions are misguided, their feedback is still relevant, right? There's something about your game or a game that they don't like, and they don't necessarily have the understanding to point out exactly what it is. So they'll attempt to give you feedback, right? And they'll just go like, oh, it's not long enough, or oh man, there's just not enough enemy variety, or the animations are broken. That I hear that all the time. It's like the animations are broken, and it's like the AI is like bad because they don't understand the difference between animations and AI, or you know, like the models are broken, you know, but their feedback's still relevant because it's just like, okay, something's wrong, or they don't like something about it. So I should probably take a look, but you need to not let the comments and feedback of random people who do not understand your game stop you dead in your tracks to figure out like what's wrong, right? Because sometimes people are just wrong. Sometimes the game isn't for them. I'm in the burn all creative AI. Yeah. Well, we were having a discussion in the Discord earlier where the discussion we were having earlier was basically whenever there's like a new technological invention, usually it allows you to do something that hasn't been possible before, right? So, you know, with the invention of the camera, landscape painters kind of, you know, they lost their jobs, right? Because you could just take a very beautiful landscape picture and it not take dozens of hours to do. So it kind of like relegated those people to being hobbyists. And from there, we moved on to like, say, the video camera, right? Where like live plays and everything weren't as interesting anymore because someone could record something and play it back. But all these things like started out as like super obscure and like difficult to do on their own, but they offered a new take on a medium that wasn't previously possible. everything AI is doing right now, all it's doing is creating shortcuts and cutting out the creative aspects, right? Everything AI does, humans can do, right? And humans can generally do it a little bit better, at least at this stage. And obviously not like the average person, but like talented artisans, and like programmers and everything, right? It's like it's getting that data from somewhere. And you know, it doesn't matter how many prompts you feed it, it can't like create something it hasn't been trained on. It can't think of something new. But right now it's not really doing anything that humans aren't capable of, and all it's doing is like destroying the jobs of the people who have like spent their lives working on a craft. And art isn't there just to be like a replacement and like a visual void filler. Art, like good art, is supposed to say something, and nothing like AI has come up with is like going to have like a really personal impact, right? It's like, yeah, it's great for like what you would call just like filler art, right? I don't know. It's just like, it's just all generic. It doesn't have any character. It's high fidelity, but it's low in like essence. And you know, I think that's that. And I think it's just gonna put a lot of people out of work without really improving anything. I don't think the quality of the industry is going to be any better for it. Ooh, I need to close this off. The way AI should be used is like any other tool, right? It should be there to speed up a process, not completely eliminate it. Like if it allows an artist to get to a more interesting and creative point faster, I'm fine with that. But to just try and outright replace the artist with it, that's super dumb. Yeah, that's my main reason for not liking these AI art models, because it seems more like they're being made to replace creatives to churn out more content faster to try and sell. Yeah, that's the idea. And it's kind of a culture problem right now, right? Like with the way all like social media and everything works, it's trying to take up the real estate in your brain and your attention, because that's where the money's at. Whoever holds your attention gets your dollar, right? Just by being able to bombard you more. So to a lot of like companies, something like AI is like really, really good because it allows them to churn more stuff quicker. The quality doesn't need to be better to them. It just means they're able to put out more stuff. It used to be funny enough, I think it was comedian Bo Burnham that like made a really good point about it, where it used to be corporations and people colonized land, right? Like that was the big rush. Like we we were expanding our territory into places that we hadn't been before. But everything's colonized now, right? So what's the next frontier? Attention. Attention's the next frontier. So everything is consistently competing for your attention. And all these CEOs want to see that like number consistently go up. And the only way they're able to like have that go up is just by like increasing the volume of content. And it doesn't matter if it's good or not, they don't care, as long as it's like holding your attention. And the odds of it holding your attention is better if there's more. Just by there being more, the odds of it like something holding your eye for a little bit is better to them. They don't care if it's good or not, right? EA had an investor meeting thing recently where they showed off some kind of AI chatbot that would actively alter in-game rules in level geo. Yeah, I saw that. I was not impressed with how it looked, right? And again, you know, I don't think EA is gonna replace everyone with like AI, right? Because it's quite literally slop right now when it comes to like game dev level design and stuff like that, right? The level I saw it generate was so horrendous. It was so horrendously uninteresting. It felt like every like student project that I've ever seen. It's just like, oh, we had an idea for this, and it's just like, wow, a randomly generated dungeon. Oh, and you had a couple rules that changed dynamically. Well, what's the game about? We don't know. I thought that was a game. I thought if we made some rules that changed as it played, and you know the dungeon went on forever, that was a game. It's like, yeah, I guess technically, but it's not fun. Yeah, I think I'm good. I think you'll be a part of something new that we don't understand yet. Troops are technology-wise awesome, but like it came off as soulless. Yeah. But yeah, I don't disagree with anything you're saying. Very true. Troops are. Oh, it was a garbage level, but like that's the worst that AI will ever be, and every day they get better. Yeah, exactly. And I'm not against AI, right? A lot of things and tools and automation it's really great, right? If it lets us get to something new and creative faster, I think that's pretty cool. But as it currently stands, it doesn't do that. And at the same time, people who misunderstand what it is, and who don't have an appreciation for art as a medium are just replacing people who are, you know, very capable, right? And that's not good. So that's what I was saying is like, I think in the mean term, we're going to find more churny, garbage, asset flippy kind of slop. Just like it won't be bad, it just will be uninspired, right? Like Star Wars Outlaws, like technically that game has a lot of fidelity, but it doesn't really have a lot of soul or character to it from what I've seen. It's like, yeah, it's in Star Wars, but the characters are kind of generic. The plot doesn't seem that interesting. The environments were kind of cool, but again, it's like nothing we haven't seen before. To be honest, the biggest issue was just like the combat loops weren't that good, and things were kind of glitchy, which again, standard Ubisoft game. We keep buying it, they'll keep selling it. All right, I think we need to like work into this room here. Like, this room needs more work, but I think for now it's good enough, right? It gets across the idea that this is something of interest. We'll come back to it. I still haven't decided what I want this room to be yet, unfortunately. Like, it feels like a boss arena, but that's not what it is. It might just be too big, honestly. Yeah, that taps into art's place in the market. I just know it's going to take people investing in and giving AI attention in order to push into something new. Yeah, well, and I think it's probably something that's just inevitable with like any new medium, right? It's just going to hurt those artists for a little bit. I've seen people say like, "Oh, well, good artists will just use it to their advantage." And it's like, yes, that's true, but that doesn't matter if an out of touch CEO that only cares about money thinks it's going to be able to replace you completely for $0, right? So it doesn't matter if actual artists can adapt to use it if those CEOs are just gonna like chuck those people to the wayside, right? So that's wherein lies the problem, because it's before, you know, it's like those artists are irreplaceable, but perceived value is more important in terms of job stability than actual value. That's why, you know, so many middle managers who do absolutely fuck all at companies maintain their jobs in a collapsing company where the people who are actually doing the work are the ones getting laid off. And you see that in like mergers all the time too, where it's like these like middle management bootlickers who are spending all their time campaigning for their job, showing off how important they are, and just being the loudest voice in the room while everyone else has their heads down trying to bail the water out of the sinking ship. When the merger actually happens, the people who did all the work get thrown out, and then those like other people kind of get to keep their job. So, and it's entirely because of perceived value, not actual value. It's incredibly sad. I see it all the time. I see it. It's every company too, right? Like it's not like a one-off, right? It's just the issue of private equity-backed people who have no skin in the game. They just want to see the number go up. And they don't have to look you in the eye when they fire you. They've never met you, so you're a number to them. So you're expendable. Yeah. It's incredibly sad. I see it happening. You know, I saw it happen at my old job. And, you know, now a lot of people who are, you know, really, really solid workers, talented people, after they kept a floundering company that was completely mismanaged alive in a market that was dying, they got thrown to the wayside. It's like, those are the people that kept your company alive, and the CEO was like, well, I can make a little bit more money if I get rid of them. I get a nicer bonus. You know, I've been really wanting to repaint my yacht recently, so let's get rid of employee number 432. It's like, yeah, he was important, but we'll just delegate his job to another employee that is already doing another job. Yeah, I'm deep in the belly of that world despite not being the world of art. Yeah. Well, I mean, It's just how the cookie crumbles, right? I've been through many layoffs and it's horrible, especially at the small company I started at. Yeah, it's really bad when it's a small company, right? Because you know everyone. It's not just like, it's like people you're like friends with and who you know for a fact are like doing their job and being good workers. And you know, sometimes the CEO is making like a tough call. But generally it comes down to like greed. That's like the number one thing, right? Like a company had like a good season, so they got like really greedy, right? They're like, oh, this number's going up and it's going to go up forever, so we're going to scale in order to accommodate that number. And then lo and behold, after they just like hired a bunch of people, oh no, number going down. How did this happen? I thought there was an infinite amount of resources out there and this number would go up forever. I thought the market was infinite and I thought people had infinite money. It's like, no, you idiot. You got greedy. And now you're having to fire people. You're not going to take a cut because you're greedy. But yeah, it's like failing, like CEOs that are like having a failing company. They never take pay cuts, right? It's like they're the one who has completely steered the ship wrong, and rather than go down with the Titanic or help bail the water, they throw people overboard to make the ship lighter. It's like, yeah, that might work in the short term, but I don't know. I'm rambling. Yeah, greed is the grease of the corporate cog machine. Yeah, you're right. But then you have like occasionally like super stand-up CEOs, like one of the CEOs of Nintendo, when like the Wii U horrendously flopped. Rather than fire people, he took a giant pay cut, right? And you know, other people also had to take a pay cut, but as a result, he was able to keep those people on. And keep that talent around long enough to utilize them to pivot. And you know what they made with those same people? They made the Switch. Best-selling console since the Wii. So, you know, that's what happens. It just works. What is going on here? Why are these... Yeah, they're either in or out with a severance package that dwarfs the annual income of most people who get fired. Yeah, exactly. Something I've seen happen at a lot of companies too, where like CEOs will just like hire a bunch of their buddies to the C-suite, and those guys are like getting paid super good, and they get in there, they're like, oh man, you know, I'd really like a bonus this year. Well, where are we gonna get the bonus from? You know, we're in a down year. Well, let's just fire a couple people, right? I haven't met them. Fuck them. It's like, dude, that's scummy. Like, oh man, our company's not doing so good. We overhired. Let's get rid of our SEO division. We don't need search engine optimization. We'll hire someone from the Philippines to do that for pennies on the dollar, and then also treat them like shit. Cool, dude. Real baller move. We could learn from Nintendo in that aspect. But, you know, Nintendo's also super greedy, right? I mean, they're suing the Pal World devs for copyright infringement right now, and the claim is like kind of ridiculous from what I've seen. That'd be like John Carmack suing like from what I've seen, their claim is it's just like there's likenesses of Pokemon, but there's not really likenesses, right? Like they're just cutesy animal. Like you don't own an idea. Like you can't copyright the idea of having cutesy animals fight each other and then collecting them. Yeah. Well, people joked about it forever, and then people are like, "Nah, don't worry about it." You know, why would they even do that? It doesn't make any sense. It's fine. And then, you know, now they're finally doing it. They're also suing a Chinese company that like did blatantly rip off Pokemon. Like there are just Pokemon in the game, and it's like one of those like Pokemon clones that just do blatantly steal art and everything and don't really change all that much. It's like, that makes sense. I'm fine with that, right? It's like, you know, they did not make those assets, and they, you know, but Pal World, it's like all the content in there is like, you know, there might be some similarities, but it's still original content, even if it's like not that original. They didn't like literally rip models and trace stuff from Pokemon. They're mad you can shoot Pokemon. Yeah. It's possible they're like, I don't know the exact reason they're suing them. Why is Nintendo suing Pal World? It's alleged. It's just alleged. There's nothing specific. Oh, they're saying it's patent infringement. So likely Nintendo patented some mechanics. And Pal World infringes on those patents. So it's not about copyright. It's not about like the actual characters. It's about like the functionality of the game. Fuck you, dude. Patenting game mechanics is like super scummy, and the Japanese love to do it. That's like one of the reasons we didn't have mini games on loading screens for the longest time. And I want to be clear, it's not, this isn't like a derogatory thing towards like Japanese game devs. It's just they seem to have been like the ones that have done it the most. Well, actually, no, because Naughty Dog patented some ideas and stuff too. So yeah, honestly, just if you're patenting a game mechanic, fuck you. Excuse my language, but that's like you're going to stingily hold back the entirety of the industry and the medium because you just happened to come up with an idea first. And here's the thing, you probably didn't even come up with the idea first. You just had the money and capital to patent that idea. It's like imagine if the guy who came up with the seatbelt patented the seatbelt. And it's like, no, you can't put this in any cars. I don't care if it's going to save lives and make everything better. It's like, I want to make money off of it. I don't want anyone else making money off of it. It's like, dude. hey. welcome to the stream. Hey, can you describe a little bit of this game you're designing? Sorry, let me get off my my soapbox here talking about Power World and all that. So, yeah, let's talk about my game. So the game I'm making, it's a first-person shooter slash third-person action brawler, right? So you can switch back and forth between first-person shooting and third-person brawling at times. We're really big fans of things like Dark Souls and games like Borderlands. This is a co-op shooter action RPG, I guess, because there's some RPG elements. Oh, who's shooting at me? Oh, this guy. Let me see. Let me kill this guy real quick. Ooh. Let's see if I can find more enemies. But yeah, this is a kind of wacky Atom Punk universe. You are a captain for Planet America. It's based off of basically the space race in the 1960s. It's like, what would happen if the Americans won the Cold War prior to the space race? And whoop, whoop. Ooh, get dodged. Get dodged, bozo. Ooh, headshot, headshot, headshot. So yeah, the premise is what would happen in like this like wacky retro future, right? So the premise is America won. So we no longer had a reason to beat the Soviets into space, right? Like they like shrunk up. And America like, you know, takes over Cuba and all these other places, and they slowly join the United States. But what happens is the Soviets have a secret space program, and they launch themselves to the dark side of the moon, creating a moon colony to be hidden away for hundreds of years, right? And then from there, a couple hundred years later, Planet America is formed. Everyone on Earth is now part of Planet America. But then the Soviet Union, I know, super goofy, right? So yeah, the Soviet Union, they start fighting each other. So the moon and, you know, Earth start flinging nukes back and forth at each other, and they realize they're at a gridlock. So they take their war out into space, and they start colonizing planets and start fighting on the far reaches of the galaxy. Damn, I really love the transition between persons. Yeah. I think it's a really cool mechanic, and it's something we've never seen before. So just conceptually, I kind of really like it, right? It's a co-op shooter too. So anyway, you're Captain McSpacebiff. You're like a brand new recruit. In the very farthest reaches of space, hundreds of light years away, there's a colony that is a new colony. Oh, does this guy see me? I think he sees me. Uh-oh. Woo! Let me see if I can take him out real quick. Oh! Oops. If I would have landed in that water in the final game, that would have killed me because it would have been electrified. Right, so you get sent to the farthest edges of space to check in on a colony that's gone dark. They had a communications relay using quantum computing. Funny enough, we based it off of like how quantum computers theoretically would actually work. How quantum computers work in real life is you can affect one atom somewhere, and then it will instantaneously affect an atom somewhere else, right? So, and regardless of how far those particles are from each other, influencing one will affect the other. So essentially, you could send binary messages across infinite space and time instantaneously. Even if it really took a long time to get there, you could still send messages back and forth. You are kind of like this technician and soldier that was like sent to check up on this galaxy. You're frozen like a popsicle, launched across space for hundreds of years to check in on this galaxy edge colony, and by the time you get there, everything's gone to crap, right? Yeah, Soviet Union is super funny, right? It's stupid, but a lot of it is kind of influenced by movies like Idiocracy, right? But yeah, I really like these guys. They have a lot of personality. They're like very stretchy, right? This is like another type of enemy we have. It's called the grub. I really wish I had like an actual picture of it somewhere, because we have a full model of it, but it's not in my version of the project. It's in the other guys, because he's rigging it and everything right now for me to animate. Yeah, you get here and everything's gone to crap, right? Holy cheese, physics applied in a logical way is the way. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, you get here and it's actually, let me pull over to the open world. So it's an open world game, right? So what we're doing right now is we're building what we're calling like the vertical slice, and it's going to be a demo, right? So there's going to be like a miniature open world where you can run around. Local manner, sorry, Spanish is my native language. Hey, no worries, man. Let me know if you need like clarification on anything. Where are you from, Caesar? My girlfriend is Spanish, so she's from Venezuela, which is not doing so hot right now. Love the country, but tough times here. Okay, here we go. So this is, why is it running so poorly? You're Mexican. Nice. You're our border brother. Yeah, we're based out of Florida. But yeah, this is kind of like our little overworld here. In the final game, the environments would be more spread out, but we wanted to, show some variety, right? Just having a sick hangout with Harrison here. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, dude. Yeah, we like to just hang out and talk about game design and the state of games, and also just kind of show off what I'm working on. Yeah, this is like the little overworld that you'll be able to play in the demo. You'll be able to talk to NPCs, fight enemies, explore, do different quests. And then the level we're building here, let's see if I can. Ooh. Yeah, the level we're in right now is kind of like at the center of this mountain. Eventually you can break into there, and then you go down and do the level. I don't know why this level is like running so bad right now. Probably just, I don't know, any number of reasons. Thanks, this is the place to be right now. That's true. Man, it's like acting like kind of weird and janky right now. Don't know what's going on. Let me try closing like Discord or something. Wow, that was it. It's because I had Discord open. Dude, my computer is not so great these days. But yeah, so this is like the level you get to, right? From that first place, you end up like dropping down through like this like crazy air duct, and you find one of these guys like hidden and trapped back in here, right? So this facility is a Soviet Union facility where they've been kidnapping planet American colonists and trying to convert them to be Soviets, And in this room, there's going to be a bunch of just like monitors that are flashing red that say join, join, join. And it's going to be like super stupid, right? And you'll talk to him and he'll say that he swiped a key card off of one of the robots when he got put in there. And that, you know, this mind brainwashing stuff would never work on him in a million years. So all you have to do is run across this room over here and pull the lever to release him. And the moment you do that, he's gonna turn into a Spetsnaz soldier. So it turns out, you know, it was just a couple more flashes before he would turn to a bad guy. And then you have to fight him for a key card, right? And then you gotta, you know, rope-a-dope, punch him to death, and then from there, you can go into the rest of this facility, right? But yeah, at the beginning of McSpacebiff, Captain McSpacebiff, you crash land, right? You hit like a meteor field, and all these parts of your ship go and scatter all across the world. And similar to games like Metroid Prime, or Metroid is probably the best example. These ship parts are going to give your character upgrades when you find them. You're going to... Wow, that was loud. You're going to scan the technology from the ship part and then integrate it into your suit. And then from there, you can do things like super jumps, right? Or you can then dodge in the air. Or, you know, have like a heat shield or something. Or let me show off another power where I just picked it up, where if I roll through an enemy, it will kill them. I'm actually entering programming world. Too late, but I'm pretty excited about all the possibilities of creating. Oh, nice, man. Nah, there's no such thing as too late. Thank you for explaining. I think you're doing a great job. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, we are we're a two-man team, right? So I do all the level design and environment design and animations and a lot of the concept design. So, you know, like concept sketches and stuff, and then helping bring that to life, some texture work, that kind of thing. And then the other guy, Will, he also streams. You know, he does like all the character design and rigging for animations and the programming. We both know a little bit of both, but just for sake of productivity, we kind of split the tasks up. Oh yeah, the roll. So if you look above me, there's some footage of some of our other games that we've made. The one you're seeing above me right now is a game called Root. ROOT. It is a cyber espionage stealth shooter. It's very similar to games like Deus Ex and Thief and kind of Doom 3 a little bit, right? And then I think the next game that's going to show is another game we made called Denizen. Denizen. That game is actually free on itch.io. That's more of a atmospheric horror exploration game. It's just a prototype at the moment. We'll eventually come back to it when we have more time and resources, but you know, we're only a two-man team, so it not being able to work on it full time would be very, very difficult to fully flesh out that game, because that's like an open world survival exploration game, and when it comes to realistic graphics, there's a lot more work that has to go into it, right? Yeah, you're entering programming world. Like I said, there's no such thing too late. I mean, I've said this saying a lot, but I don't know if you've ever heard the expression, the best time to plant a tree is 30 years ago. The second best time to plant a tree is right now. So it's better to be starting now than never. So, I mean, especially now with like all the tools and everything, all the tutorials, Did y'all hear about the engine? It's crazy. No, I've not heard about that. Let me look at that. Engine. Game engine, GitHub. Diffusion models, interesting. Oh. So, look at this. These are real-time recordings of people playing the game Doom, simulated entirely by neural mod. I'm not sure if this is what you're talking about, but this is awesome. This is super cool. A little scary, but pretty cool. So Caesar, what made you decide to get into programming, if you don't mind me asking? Root is a great game. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, our other game, Deadlock, is based in the same universe. Not to be confused with Valve's Deadlock. It's a VR arcade shooter. We're actually also working on an update for that right now. Originally, it was just a room scale shooter, but we wanted to do locomotion years ago and like the teleporting movement, but people said it made them sick, so we kind of set it aside. It's in alpha on Steam, but we're now coming back to it. We're bringing it over to the Unreal Engine, and we're probably gonna try and add things like just different varieties of levels. We're trying to make it more like John Wick, right? Where you're like running through hallways and just like shooting things, and you still get like power-ups and stuff, but it's more along the lines of like Nazi zombies from Call of Duty or Firefight from Halo now. But yeah, dude, let me actually drop this in the chat, because this is like super cool. See, this is why we do these streams, right? Like people just pop in here with like some of the coolest stuff you've ever heard of, right? It's like a neural network learning to play a game. See, like this is the kind of stuff I think AI is like really cool for, right? It's like AI to like completely replace artists is like kind of gross, but when it comes to like programming and like rebuilding games, and like I could imagine like this would be like super good for like testing stuff once it gets to like a certain level, right? It's like shout out to my QA peeps too, because God knows we couldn't make games without them. I don't want to run out of wall for a million years, right? And this would probably free QA people up to like test more like conceptually good or bad stuff, right? It's like, oh, this doesn't feel good versus like, oh, this does feel good. Whereas like you could have this guy, the engine, just like run at a wall over and over, try to like clip your way out. That kind of thing is like super cool. I'm actually studying AI engineering. Oh, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, we've AI's been kind of a hot button topic in this this group for a little bit. We're kind of debating like the pros and cons of it, because conceptually it's really cool, right? But it's not quite where we think it's super good at the moment, and we don't like the idea that it's replacing artists and industries. Yeah, 20 frames per second and you can play on it is nuts. Like, if you told me like this would exist 10 years ago, I'd be like, that sounds like Matrix stuff, right? That doesn't sound real. That's Hollywood garbage. But I'm seeing the gameplay right here, and it's pretty cool. But yeah, like AI is, it's definitely the future, right? So to say like it doesn't have a place in the games industry is kind of silly. But again, it should be a tool like anything else. Like, I don't think it should ever completely replace the human element, I think it should be used to help expedite processes that allows people to make cooler stuff quicker. I think that's what it should be used for. This kind of thing is like exactly what I'm talking about. Like that's what we like. Yeah, dude, you should join our Discord because we talk about like stuff like this all the time. I don't know. I don't like some stuff happening with AI. Yeah. Me too, man. It's concerning. It's concerning, right? Like I feel, especially in creative fields, or just in general, some of the stuff it does is like kind of spooky. But just in regards as like a creative, I don't really like AI art all that much. For one, it's not creative, right? It can't come up with anything it hasn't seen before, and I don't like the idea of it replacing artists that actually have something to say and express, right? But I do understand why there's such a big push for it at the same time. So it's a touchy subject, and it's hard to say like what the right move is right now, but I definitely don't think replacing artists fully with it right now is the move. That just seems foolhardy and very short-sighted and generally just kind of greedy. I think you're going to have a lot of games that feel very samey and generic, and we already have too many generic games right now. Games that just feel like they were designed by committee, games that don't have a lot of personality or anything new to them. It's just kind of the same idea with a new coat of paint on it. And I think AI is going to probably add to that. I don't know. What are y'all's thoughts? What are some of the things you don't care for about AI? Be interested to hear. Oop. Let me pull this over here. Sure, share the Discord. You got it, man. Exactly. Caesar's saying, I think AI should do the laundry and the dishes so we can focus on the creativity. Yeah, that's the point, right? You want to have this automation to free you up to do the things that only people can do. The really like creative and interesting aspects that man, and people just don't seem to understand that, right? It's like great. It's great that we can cut these corners, but at the end of the day, you gotta love the medium and you gotta love the art, right? There you go. There's the link right there. Yeah, we'd love to have you, man. I mean, if you look at our what was it? I think our general discussion was, we were literally talking about this earlier today. No, sorry, it was in our memes channel. we went on like a tangent talking about like the pros and cons of AI. Yeah, a lot of us we work in different industries, right? Like this is not my day job, right? I work as a e-commerce programmer, and in the case of that, it makes sense to have AI, right? Like being able to fix up sites and back-end stuff quicker is just good. It's not going to completely replace people because you need someone who knows how to run it and then also maintain the infrastructure and all this other stuff. But when it comes to art, it's like I'm fine with people using AI art to like get a start for an idea or something, right? Like, okay, like I'm gonna generate some concepts for like inspiration, and then from there I'm gonna go make my own thing. But to use it just as is, as generated, that's gross. I don't like that. We can do better than that. I don't care for it being, Sim Cook is saying, I don't care for it being used to cheat in the realm of other art forms. I hate that it's being used by greedy bastards to get things that give the appearance of art without having to employ people. Yeah. Well, and the worst part about it is, right now, the AI, how it works is essentially kind of like Google. What it does is it's like scraping images from everywhere and then taking those concepts and then smashing them together. There's like no creative anything with it, right? It can only replicate portions of things it's already seen, and then it can do like a collage of that. But beyond that, the worst bit is it's scraping data from artists and stealing the styles and drawings and the input of artists without their permission, right? So that's super, super lame. But I love Warhammer profile pics. Yeah. See, like, I don't mind someone, generating an AI profile pic, right? It's just like or making a goofy meme out of it, right? That's not really hurting anybody. But that said, I still prefer the the hand touch, right? Like sometimes like AI generated memes can be funny, but it takes true artistry in Photoshop to make something as horrendous as this thumbnail. Right? AI could only dream of making something this awful. Oh man, I can't believe I made that. Yeah, just goofy. Yeah, Caesar, let me know if that link worked for you. I think we also have a link to our Discord in our YouTube description. Do not bash the thumbnail. Do not bash. Listen, I made it. I'm allowed to bash it a little bit, right? It is a masterpiece. I'm proud of it, right? Like that took time and thought and insight. Yeah, like the most recent one, it's does AI dream of electric Stuart Little? No. It just reminds me of that scene from iRobot, where Will Smith is just grilling the guy, the robot Sonny. He's just like, can a robot make a symphony or a beautiful painting or a piece of art? And he's just like, can you? And then Will Smith like shuts up real quick. This makes me think of that. Yeah, on other topics, there's been some hype lately on PS1 type environments in games. I love it. There's a dude creating art about Mexican traditions. It's funny. Oh, dude, nice. Funny enough, there is one of the guys who hangs out in the stream a lot, who is also a dev. His name's Otten the Knight. He hangs out in our Twitch. He's not here tonight, but probably because he's getting his new PC set up. He's been making a PS1 style, like really fast, almost like Devil May Cry, like sword game. Cheap viewers on boo, get these bots out of here. I don't need cheap viewers. I only want premium viewers. We got premium viewers in here. Okay, we don't need your cheap views. But yeah, I'm loving that renaissance of like that weird kind of like aesthetic for PlayStation 1 games. It's just so cool looking. And that's really cool that someone's making art about Mexican traditions. I like that. See, like AI can't do that, right? A game that we've been following on Twitter. I think we're mutuals with them. They're making a game called Arctic Egg, and the whole game is about you making eggs in an Arctic environment, and you have this like physics-based pan that like controls terribly. Like it feels so bad to control, and the eggs like sliding around on it. And as the game goes on, they ask you to like throw more things in, like cigarettes and fish, and they everything has that like old weird PlayStation 1 wobbly effect, which is so cool, right? Funny enough, the reason the Bloodborne demake is so cool. Funny enough, the guys who were making the Bloodborne demake made another thing called Bloodborne Kart, right? Where it's basically like Crash Racing and like Mario Kart, but with like Bloodborne style characters. And people liked it so much that they removed all the Bloodborne assets and did it in that style. And it's gonna be its own game. It's coming out. So check that out. I'll join later. Sorry, I have to download Discord, but I don't want to get out of here. The chat's so interesting. Yeah, man. That's what it's all about. We're just hanging out, having good times. I'm making some levels, talking about some cool game stuff. But yeah, that's why you should definitely join the Discord though. Like once the stream's done, because this is the kind of stuff we talk about all the time. And Will, the other streamer, he streams on Mondays and Wednesdays, noon to 3 p.m. Eastern time. He does character design and AI, and his perspectives are also really, really interesting too, because he's very technically proficient. Yeah, what I was gonna say, what was so cool about those PlayStation 1 games that had like very particular aesthetic to them is like the geometry would like wobble a little bit, right? Like everything felt like not jello, but like shaky, and it like gave it this like really interesting uncanny valley feeling. Which made games like Resident Evil and Silent Hill feel so interesting, especially with that like gritty pixel style, right? The reason that is because the original PlayStation 1 couldn't do fractions. So when it came to floating point values of vertices, the things that, you know, make up models, like the different points on the model. For those of you who don't know, let me kind of give you an idea. Yeah, so like these are vertices, right? These are like the different points in 3D that make up the faces of the model, right? When a model on the PlayStation would move through the world, it would calculate its position based off of screen space rather than world space. And because of that, coupled with the fact that it couldn't do fractions, it would move the vertices between points by snapping them instead of smoothly moving them, because it couldn't do fractions. So that's why all the geometry would like wobble and stuff. And, you know, it would like kind of, let me see if I can get like a better example. It would kind of like snap like that, right? But it's like all the models are doing that. So it has like a very particular look to it that's actually really hard to replicate. A lot of people replicate it by kind of adding shaders that modulate the flow and scale of geometry, but it's not the same, right? Because it's like a consistent thing. Whereas in the PlayStation, it would only move based off of actual movement. And that's why a lot of the games like Resident Evil looked better, because the hallways were with locked camera position. That's why a lot of people thought it looked so good compared to other games, is because in screen space relation, those halls aren't moving. Yeah, there. I heard about the fraction thing making the Earth wobble. Yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah, I really like that aesthetic, and I'm glad it's coming back. I don't think all games should have that aesthetic, obviously. I mean, you just by looking above me, you see that we're fans of different aesthetics, right? Every game we've made has had a different look to it. Like Deadlock is very like hyper realistic, not hyper realistic, but like very like Tron, neon, cyber, very virtual, right? And then our other game like Denizen is like kind of realistic, but it does have like a style to it as well. And then McSpacebiff is more cartoony and kind of like Borderlands a little bit. So yeah, it's like we're really big fans of like different types of art styles. Like we'll do anything from realistic to, you know, comic booky Borderlands style to neon Tron. So yeah, it's always cool to see people adapting like different styles and making it fit the vibe and aesthetic of the game they're making. Whoop. Had no idea. That's super cool. Yeah, stick around, you might actually learn something. I happen to know a lot about like game history and lore and stuff. That's just because it's stuff I'm super interested in. I also know a decent amount about like psychology of like spaces and architecture and stuff. Just because when I was a teenager, I thought I was going to be an architectural engineer when I grew up. So I spent a lot of time looking into things like interior design and the psychology of spaces. And like why certain spaces feel good versus like not, right? And things like visual design and flow and feng shui, if you will, right? Like very basic stuff like large open rooms with tall ceilings make you feel small and make you not want to be there because you feel vulnerable. So people have a tendency to kind of want to stick to walls and more enclosed spaces, but if a space is too enclosed, they start to feel anxious and will want to move out of it. And that's why you can't have too many of a same type of space, right? You can't have too many like tight corridors, and you can't have too many big open spaces because with big open spaces, people generally lose direction and start to feel a little nervous. And if a space is too tight for too long, they feel anxious and do not want to be in it. And it's like they get too close to it and can't navigate it. But if those are like concepts you're trying to like work with, that's actually good, right? That's why like so many horror games are in like cramped, dark corridors, right? Because it invokes a very particular psychological threat, right? People don't like being in those enclosed spaces because if there's any danger, they don't have anywhere to run to. And same thing with like a wide open space without any cover, it makes you feel anxious because there's nothing to hide behind. So, but you work those two concepts together, and it's like breathing almost, right? It's like it's breathing in and out, breathing in and out. There's like an ebb and flow, and people have a tendency to like spaces that do that, right? It's why like things like mud rooms exist, right? Because it's a nice like little like cozy place where you like get your bearings before you like move out into a living room, and then you go down a hallway which like feels tighter, and then a room is bigger. Because otherwise people would live in warehouses, right? And people do open floor plans, but generally speaking, I don't like those. Preference thing though, right? Oh, that's so loud. Yeah, you need to y'all need to remind me to mute that audio effect because it keeps stacking. The more doors I add to a level, the more that audio is gonna stack because they're playing in 2D space instead of 3D space, and when the level starts, all of them play sound. So it's like adding like 5 more decibels every time I add a door, and eventually it's gonna blow the eardrums out of chat. So that's not good. Right. I'll make my notes. Yeah, it's loud, man. Maybe we jump. Yeah. Yeah, speaking of tension and jump scares. Yeah, it's like one of those like weird bugs that you don't think about. It's like I'll be like, it'll get like super quiet and it'll be like calm and there's like nice lo-fi music in the background and you know it's dark out and you know I'm working on making a level, and then all of a sudden I load it up and boom! Jump scare. So sorry about that. It keeps me on my toes though. It wakes me up. Oh yeah, I never even talked about this room. I forgot to mention that McSpacebiff does have some puzzle elements in it. It's not like over the top, right? Because you know, it's a shooter co-op experience first. That, you know, like something you just like play with your like little cousin or your girlfriend or your friend or whatever, and not like really have to think about it too much. But I think puzzle elements of a certain caliber are fine, right? Sim Cook says, the save rooms in Resident Evil games have always really struck me. Little cozy spaces with nice music playing to you that just somehow intuitively know you're safe just based on how they're designed. Exactly. I really like that, right? Dead Space does a similar thing with its like shop terminals, right? It's like a respite from all the anxiety, because if you had to save in a place that didn't feel safe, you would never be able to calm down from that dopamine spike and that cortisol and that like adrenaline that's running through you, and you wouldn't want to play the game as long, right? And that's fine for some games. Like some games are just nail biting, edge of your seat the whole time, and some games are just cozy, right? Like games like Stardew Valley or like Animal Crossing, there's not really any like big spikes, and those are fine. But I think in general, as a design principle, you want to kind of have that ebb and flow, right? So in McSpacebiff, we're going to have these similar to Resident Evil, these like little computer save terminals, right? It's like a little computer backpack where you can like save your game, and they're generally going to be in rooms that are safe that enemies can't get to. It's kind of like the bonfire from Dark Souls, right? When you finally get to it, it will expel the enemies in the area and kind of reset the area, right? But enemies do not spawn in a radius to it, so you know once you get to that point, you're safe for a bit, right? You can kind of recollect your thoughts before you go back into the world. Please continue your design process. I'm so invested. Oh, cool. I will gladly do that. So, here's one of the puzzles I was kind of designing earlier, right? So let me turn all these off real quick. Well, not off, but put them down. All right, So when you initially come into this room here, it is going to be without any water in it, right? The idea is, I don't have a door here yet because the issue where it's like blowing my eardrums out. This room will be locked up. This room over here, it's going to have a key card in the middle of it that you need to progress further into the level. The doors are going to be locked from every angle because the power is going to be cut off to it. There's going to be an electrical box over here that you can flip on that will send power to this area. But when you first drop down into here, you're going to be fighting these guys, little grubs. They're just going to, like, you know, run around, gnaw at your feet. Let me actually see if I can pull up a picture of the grub, because I think you need to see the 3D version of them before you really get an idea for what's going on. Oh, we have them in a short. What am I talking about? I just let me do that real quick. There we go. There's a picture of these guys. Wow. See if I can zoom in on them. There we go. It's very low res, but that's kind of what they look like in the game, right? I like them. They're cute. They essentially run around, bite at your ankles, and can like jump at you, and they dig underground and stuff. But they're like one of the enemies you find in the game, based off of this concept, right? When you first come into this room, when you land on the ground, nothing will happen, right? There might be one or two robots like meandering around this room. This door over here will be closed. These doors over here will be closed. So your only option is to do this like little jumping puzzle right here, right? Where you go whoop, 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 and then you activate the electricity over here. And there's going to be two wires. One of the wires is going to run along the ground up this wall here and to an electrical box that's going to power these doors. But you'll notice that one of the electrical wires is chewed up and is not sending electricity anymore. So it's going to stop about here, and the other one's going to be like hanging off the wall. And the moment you kick on the power, it's going to upset all the grubs in the area, and they're going to come burrowing up out of the ground. And now they're running around to the bottom of the arena, right? But you notice that there's another wire draping down this way, and it cuts through over here along the ground into this door over here. And you go, okay, well, that's where the electricity is going. Maybe I should go that way. But now you have to fight a room full of grubs, right? You gotta like punch them and dodge them and shoot them and all this other stuff, right? So you find them in like a sandy arena. But then you get into this room over here, and you know, you killed all the grubs, you close the door, whatever. Then you can flip a switch, and that switch will fill the room full of water. I don't have this like set up to a blueprint right now, but this is something we'll do later. Where when you flip that switch, these pylons will come up out of the ground. The water will fill the room, and the electricity will now be flowing through all the water. So it's now carrying a current from over here to the wire here. So now you can unlock the doors. But the problem is, brace yourself, I'm going to load into the game, so it's going to be loud for a second. So now once you're in here, this water is now electrified, and it's going to open that room, and it's going to be full of drones. So now you gotta fight drones while not falling into the electrified water. And you'll have a gun, so you'll be able to shoot them and stuff. And then you get in here, and this room isn't detailed yet, but let's see if I can punch one of them. Come here. Come here. Ooh! Well, if I was in the regular game, I would have died there. Oh, that's that. There we go. Let me kill him. Nice. Okay. So, yeah, and then I would be able to get one of the key cards from in here, and then, you know, hop back across, and then, you know, come out into this area, and then go throughout the rest of the level. And it kind of doesn't matter where you go. The level is interconnected, and it all kind of snakes back to this main hall and this main area right here, right? These are placeholder assets. This is also a placeholder asset, but this is going to be a giant elevator door that is locked down. And you need 3 key cards before you can unlock all the seals on it, right? And you can do it in any order you want. This is one of the arenas. This is going to have a giant door here when you enter this arena. The door will close behind you. It'll close behind you over here too, and then a bunch of grubs will pop up out of the ground. You have to shoot a bunch of grubs, and, you know, once you kill all of them, you'll get a key card, and this area will unlock. There will be an elevator or staircase that takes you up to this level. Then you fight some drones on the rafters, and then it'll bring you back over to this way. Then there's, you know, this like jumping puzzle where it's like it's 2 different arenas, and then also this arena that I'm currently building. And you can kind of do it in whatever order you want. You can kind of travel through the level in whatever way you want, right? Like this area goes up here, shortcut, snakes this way, comes over here, or, you know, you could go around this way and down this way and then come over here this way, right? Or maybe, you know, you go back this way. So I'm adding just a lot of routes just because I enjoy giving the player a lot of freedom. Yeah, like, you know, shortcuts if you want to cut through over here, right? Or, you know, you do a little jumping puzzle where you jump on top of these things and cut through this way. Nice. So much action. Biffed. Yeah. I'm glad y'all are liking it. It's, you know, it's coming along. This level didn't exist even 3 weeks ago. Otten, hey, how's it going? How's it going, Otten? A lot of the gang is over in YouTube right now, but yeah, we got a new guy hanging out named Caesar. Super cool, super chill, AI programmer. Well, starting AI programmer, engineer, that kind of thing. Got your new computer yesterday. Oh, that's nice, dude. I know you've been like working with essentially rocks and sticks for a while. Yeah, Otten is another game developer, and funny enough, we were talking about PlayStation 1 style graphics, and yeah, Otten is someone who makes games with PlayStation 1 style graphics. So very cool to have everyone here. But yeah, we're kind of closing off all the corridors in this level, and it's finally all stringing together. This room's a lot nicer now. It's more of a hub area now. It took me 2 days to get the Unreal to actually get Unreal to package my project. Oh, I don't doubt that. Migrating stuff is just, believe me. Turns out I have Discord actually. Link is valid. I'm gonna join now. Oh, nice, Caesar. It'll be great to have you there. Yeah, man. This level for a little intro level, I think is coming along pretty good. Obviously, we need to set dress it some more and add in some more like flair and everything. We need to add what a lot of people refer to as the juice, right? Like that juiciness that like makes a game like really pop. Things like screen shake and just like more animations and visual effects and stuff, and things like set dressing, material differences, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's all that said, it's coming along. I just need at some point to sit down and make another swath of assets. And then also we need to do things like place NPCs around this level and trigger points and save functionality and that kind of thing. And then we also need to test it for co-op. So be sure to hang out in the Discord. Keep your peepers peeled for that, because you know, we've done some co-op testing in the past. Where we've done like vehicle tests and everything, and that's always like super fun to do, right? You had to move to the next version of Unreal in order to get the package. Oh, cool. What version are you running right now? We're still in 5.1, just because we prefer to stick with stable builds for a while. Oh, there he is. Ion. Great to have you, man. Lots of cool stuff coming in the future. Moved from 5.0 to 5.1. Yeah, I was gonna say 5.1 is a really good stable version. We're currently working in actually 5.4 for Deadlock, our VR project, and it has some issues, right? It's kind of how it goes with like any software. Anytime you're on a newer version of any system, it gets like kind of janky. Not janky, but there's just stuff that's untested. You never want to be the first person in the water, right? Like you want a stable build of something, because you know, maybe you start developing a feature and you find out, oh, it just can't do it right now. So stuff was moved, but it was telling me I need to fix some stuff. Yeah, anytime you move a project, whether it be Unity, Unreal, Godot, even just moving it to the same version of the engine, it's possible you're going to get errors, right? A lot of times it's things like library errors, where it's just stuff that you think would transfer over, but it's like hidden somewhere on like a C drive or a program file, and it ends up like causing issues that you wouldn't think of. So sometimes like recompiling a project in a newer version of the engine is a way to go, with the added benefit of just, you know, you get some new features, right? One thing I'm looking forward to eventually. Name is Ion on Discord. It was because I remember recently watching HBO Chernobyl series. That's why the name. Dude, that series is crazy, right? Such a good series, and I think it's so funny. Yeah, speaking of the Soviets, right? It's funny watching a show about Chernobyl where everyone in the show has a British accent. I just thought it was kind of funny, but it takes you out of it for like all of 20 seconds, and then you're immediately pulled back in because it's just so well done. And the fact it's like based off of like what actually happened, insane, right? Speaking of Chernobyl, I don't know if y'all are fans of that game called Stalker, but Stalker 2 is coming out in November, and I am hyped for it. I'm a huge fan of the original Stalker, and especially the Metro games. And that vibe is just always so cool, right? Both Metro and Stalker have heavily inspired a lot of the stuff we've worked on. That game Denizen we made, one of the reasons we put it on hiatus is because we wanted to make it open world like Stalker and add those like, you know, like kind of like survival elements. Yeah, it's Stalker's so cool. Just Chernobyl and in general is interesting, right? Right. Well, it is 11:30. It has been super cool hanging out with y'all. But I could keep going all night, to be honest, but I probably should get some sleep at some point. Also, I'm not gonna lie, I just got a new VR game called Underdog. And let me show you this game, because Underdogs. It is a VR mech game, right? It's super stylized, which I love. Welcome to the jungle, bruv. Yeah, it's great. You use this mech, they call it the gorilla, right? And it does locomotion in a very interesting way, where you have to, in order to move, you have to drag yourself along the ground using your hands and the grip buttons like a gorilla, right? So you move along the ground like a gorilla, and then you also punch with those same controllers. So you can't move and punch at the same time unless you're using like one of your arms to like shift you like left and right, and then like doing hooks and stuff. Very cool. A lot of fun. Very like energetic, and it's like pretty good exercise. I'm thinking about getting like some like wrist weights and like really starting to put my back into it. But yeah, it's just like one of those things where, you know, as we get further into developing Deadlock, we're like trying out like different ideas and different things, right? Like because we've played around with the concepts of like, okay, like what if we kind of want to add vehicles at some point? Like what makes for a good VR vehicle? And it's like mechs are perfect, right? Like who doesn't want to pilot a Jaeger from Pacific Rim and fight a kaiju, right? It's like that's a pretty cool like boss idea, right? So it's obviously Deadlock is in its infancy right now, and we're just trying to get it back to basics because we're completely rebuilding the project from scratch to get it into Unreal from Unity. But yeah, I get the added benefit of getting to play some VR games and being like, oh, it's game research. In reality, it's just kind of me having fun. There's a bug I keep telling me about that does nothing because I think everything seems normal when I ignore it, but when I fix it, I can't fix it. Yeah, we have bugs like that too, where it's just like it fires, but nothing happens, and the moment you try and fix it, it like breaks stuff. Been a great stream as always. This is excellent. Yeah, I'm out too. Glad to land here. Thank y'all for the warm welcome. See you soon. Yeah, thanks, man. Like I said, we stream Mondays, Wednesdays, noon to 3, and then that's the other guy. He does a lot of cool like character design, and he's been doing like AI design for the VR game Deadlock. He's totally focused on that right now. I always stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, 8 to 11. And, you know, obviously like tonight, a little bit more. But yeah, it's always great to have you. And, you know, we'll see you in the Discord and see you around. But thanks for hanging out, everybody. It's been super fun as always, and yeah, I'll see you on the next one.